On the news this morning, Anambra State government ready with measures to forestall monkeypox outbreak in the state, as the state government plans new housing schemes for low-income earners. Federal government approves Microsoft Enterprise agreement to reduce cost of IT products as Russia moves to take over major oil and gas project in war-torn region of Ukraine. Hello, beautiful morning to you and welcome to Breakfast News. I am David Okwakwasile. Before the news in detail, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him our maximum support for the task ahead. We begin the news this morning from the health sector, where the Anambra State government says there is no cause for alarm over the outbreak of monkeypox in the state. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Afamo Obidike, disclosed this during a press briefing in Oka over the discovery of one positive case in the state. Health correspondent Chibuzo Okoye completes the story.
If you have noticed this, it's not like when you notice.
Addressing the media, Dr. Obidike said that the ministry has a mandate to provide a healthy and safe environment for the people through the prevention and control of diseases and other health-related outbreaks, and that the government had responded to several public health emergencies such as yellow fever, Lassa fever, cholera, COVID-19, among others. Dr. Obidike said that few weeks ago, 2 suspected cases of monkeypox were reported in Anambra East, Onitsha, and Oyi local government areas, out of which the case from Anambra East was confirmed positive, and that the patient is doing well at an isolation center in the state, and that the state government has put all relevant surveillance measures in place towards ending the spread of the outbreaks. The Health Commissioner pointed out that the state government has put every mechanism in place to ensure that the outbreak is nipped in the bud.
As I said today, we are training our healthcare personnel today and tomorrow on the symptoms, because this is a new disease to them. They don't know how to. We are training them on how to identify it. When it's identified, they cannot send the patient to isolation. We have isolation centers functioning. For the state-owned isolation center, we have at we have very functional one at Onitsha. As I said earlier, there's no need to panic at all for the people of Anambra State for this outbreak, because the governor, Professor Charles Soludo, has made everything. We immediately had it in the 2 months ago, 3 months ago, with connection with WHO. The governor asked us to prepare, and he made available things to be used. And with the help of WHO and UNICEF, we have made a lot of plans and allowance for that.
The Anambra State Coordinator, World Health Organization State Field Office, Dr. Adam Abunazri, said that they support the state in terms of outbreak response, surveillance, and control tracing, and that Anambra State is doing well in outbreaks management.
We are here to support the state in terms of outbreak response and surveillance and all other activities in the PSC revitalization sector. So far, since we had this case, 2 suspected cases, WHO has supported through the surveillance unit, state EPID, as well as our own surveillance officer, in the sample collection, as well as ensuring that the sample went to the lab. And then when we heard about the results, we are supporting the state also in terms of all the pillars, that is in the contact tracing, contact tracing for the case that we have. So this we are here to also cooperate with the state and ensure that we bring this outbreak to a stop, and also to make the public to be aware of all the prevention of how we protect ourselves and the Indians of the state.
Monkeypox is a rare viral zoonotic otopovirus disease. It primarily occurs in the rainforests in West and Central Africa. It has been detected in a range of small mammal species, particularly rodents and monkeys. One can contract monkeypox through human-to-human transmission, direct contact with body fluids, animal scratches, among others. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, Anambra State consultant, Dr. Diden Bufein, also delivered goodwill message during the briefing. While the special advisor to Governor Soludo on medicine and pharmaceutical matters, Mr. Okechukwu Nnadozie, was present during the event in Oka. This is Chibuzo Okoye for ABS News.
Plans are on the way for the construction of low housing scheme for civil servants in the state to alleviate their sufferings. The Commissioner for Housing and Urban Development, Honorable Paulino Onyeka, disclosed this while defending the 2022 budget estimate of the ministry before the Anambra State House of Assembly Committee on Housing and Urban Development at the House of Assembly complex in Oka. House of Assembly correspondent Chukwuemeka Modelem now reports.
When we came in,
Honorable Onyeka explained that the housing project, which will be sited at Isiago, Oka South local government area, will be realized through public-private partnership. Honorable Onyeka informed the committee that Soludo administration is committed to building a befitting government house, lodge and offices for the state to bring it at par with other states. The commissioner maintained that he is working in line with the new housing policy of Governor Soludo, which stipulates that building construction must be up to standard in line with the mantra of Governor Soludo administration of building a livable, prosperous megacity, adding that the ministry will also delve into construction and more public building and renovation of existing ones in schools, hospitals, Anambra Broadcasting Service, among others.
we have a new housing policy in Anambra, and under the new housing policy, you build a house that will key into our mantra, livable and prosperous smart megacity, building for life. Any house that is coming up today in Anambra supposed to be keyed into that mantra. The architectural design will also be things that will make sure that the house will be livable. That is like where the spots for planting of trees and the flowers that will bulk up the oxygen level within that vicinity so that the people there will be okay.
In his remarks, the chairman, Anambra State House of Assembly Committee and Urban Development, Chief Lawrence Ezodo, charged the ministry to ensure judicious use of the funds that will be allocated to them, as his committee will monitor the projects they accomplished with it.
A section of members of Iftedun community in Dunkofe local government area has appealed to Anambra State government to conduct fresh elections to replace the current caretaker committee in the town instead of returning their impeached President General. They made their appeal during a peaceful protest at the government house in Oka. Correspondent Emmanuel Chiwata now reports.
Placards with various inscriptions, all showing their disapproval for the return of power of their deposed town union leader, Mr. Uchenna Nwoye Oraguncha. According to the protesters, there are arrangements to impose the impeached President General of Iftedunu back to the town, as they fear his return would lead to breakdown of law and order. Speaking, a one-time President General of Iftedunu Town Union, Chief Samuel Nweke, explained that following the impeachment, a caretaker committee led by Mr. Chigozie Odele was put in place during the former Governor Willie Obiano's administration. Chief Nweke argued that on expiration of the caretaker administration, a new election ought to be conducted, insisting that the deposed PG should not be installed back to office. He appealed to the government to allow a credible, free and fair election with option A for electoral process as stipulated in their constitution.
And when our amiable governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, onye mala that no ezigbo mmadụ ka ọ bụ. Onye anyị vote ulu n'ọchịchị. Onye anyị ka na-achọ na ọ ga-emela anyị nnukwu ife n'obodo a. A little time nọ n'obodo a egosigo anyị na security ya batago. I was in a security and Wadele, nobody knew when I got Nanya Cabani, maybe because no one ever attacked also the man of crisis here. I was here Biko, the financial book, MLI election option A4. Can you point a line and you be in peace? Thank you very much.
Speaking further, the youth leader of Iftedunu, Comrade Oliver Udobi, and community woman leader Iftedunu Town Union, Mrs. Rose Onuibo, made a call for government to conduct fresh election to enable the people vote credible leaders in order to usher in long-lasting peace in the town. Responding, the special advisor to Governor Soludo on local government affairs, Barrister Raphael Nabife, pleaded with the protesters to remain calm as the government will wade into their matter to ensure a long-lasting solution to their crises.
Their complaints from their community, I came here to address them because His Excellency and other top functionaries are in a crucial meeting. So I was delegated to come and speak to them. I've heard their complaints. They've equally submitted their petition. We'll go through it. I'll take the phone number of their leader. I'll communicate him and then we'll invite them. Definitely we'll look into their complaints. His Excellency, the Governor of Anambra State, wants peace in all the communities of Anambra State. So we'll ensure that this peace return to their community.
From the Government House in Awka, Emmanuel Chibata reporting for EBS News.
The Directorate of Defense Media Operations has commended the efforts of Armed Forces of Nigeria's military operations in various theaters of operation across the country. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Bernard Oyoko, who was speaking during a weekly operational press briefing, urged them to continue to provide information on criminals within their locality as it will help return peace to the country. ABS Abuja Bureau Chief Ekwi Ajide reports that Major General Oyoko reeled out the troops' activities and operational successes recorded from the various operational theaters of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country from 16 to 30 June 2022. He noted that in the Southeast Zone on 25 June 2022, a combined team of security agencies led by 302 Artillery Regiment had carried out a raid operation on proscribed Independent People of Biafra and the Eastern Security Network camps at Okpo in a Demli South local government area of Anambra State, where 2 suspected criminals were neutralized after a fierce gun battle, recovering 2 AK-47 rifles, 2 pump-action rifles, 1 Dane gun, 3 magazines, 5 water gel improvised explosive device, 3 generator sets, 1 SUV, and 2 cell phones from their camps. Major General Oyoko stressed that on 27 June, discovery of a notorious terrorist, the late Double Lion, followed, where 1 suspected criminal member of the gang was neutralized after a shootout, and items recovered from the camp included 1 Dane gun, 8 vehicles of different makes. Meanwhile, in the South-South Zone, the Director of Media Operations said the fight against oil thieves and illegal oil refining recorded success as a total of 3,074,000 liters of automotive gas oil (AGO), 3,810,000 liters of crude oil, 14,000 liters of premium motor spirit, and 14,000 liters of dual-purpose kerosene were discovered, and 26 oil thieves were arrested. 29 vehicles, 68 wooden boats, 9 speedboats, among other equipment, were impounded, all within the period under review. The success story remained the same in some other regions of the country. Still on the national scene, the Federal Executive Council has approved an enterprise licensing agreement for Microsoft products to minimize information technology IT costs in public institutions. FEC also endorsed the clearing up of C-band spectrum in order to accelerate the deployment of 5G services in the country. This was contained in a statement signed by Dr. Femi Adeluyi, Technical Assistant Research and Development to the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy. According to the statement, the approval came after the Minister, Issa Pantami, presented 3 memos at the meeting of the Council. It explained that government-wide enterprise licensing agreement for Microsoft products is a software acquisition cost reduction strategy for government to be implemented by the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, as part of the federal government's efforts towards keeping the cost of IT projects within sustainable levels. The enterprise licensing agreement will provide a projected savings of a minimum of 35% of government's current investment in Microsoft products and services. This will not only substantially reduce the cost of license procurement for FPIs, it will also reduce and simplify licensing complexity, facilitate accounting and cash flow predictability, and monitor utilization and impact of government investments. In business news, the federal government through the Ministry of Trade and Investment and the Central Bank of Nigeria have called on the European Union to seek ways of directing grants and subsidies to the nation's real sector to promote inclusive economic growth. This was even as they called on investors and manufacturers to apply for the Backward Integration Program, BIPC, currently in the process of being automated. Speaking at the 8th edition of the EU-Nigeria Business Forum themed Nigeria and the New Economy held in Lagos, the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, said that the government had in 2002 adopted and implemented selected backward integration and regulation policies to chart a common course in fostering economic growth, while noting that the cement industry was the first in adopting the backward integration policy. Emefiele, who was represented by the Director of Trade and Exchange Department at CBN, Dr. Ozoemena Nnaji, said that domestic production of cement a few years ago was at 20%, but noted that the narrative has changed as Nigeria not only produces but exports cement to other countries. The CBN boss said they have success stories in flour mills as well as and can see that backward integration policy is a good thing when implemented in a strategic business environment. That is why the administration has always been committed in making Nigeria self-sufficient. According to him, the CBN RT200 Forex Exchange Program holds vast potential to displace imported raw materials into the country's industrial production sector. And on the foreign scene, Russia has moved to take over a major oil and gas project in which Shell has 27.5% stake. Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a decree to take charge of the Sakhalin-2 project. The move also forced Shell and Japan's Mitsui and Mitsubishi to abandon their investments as the economic fallout of the Ukraine war spreads. The decree said a new firm will take over all rights and obligations of Sakhalin Energy Investments. Shell said in February that it will sell its Russian investments due to the conflict in Ukraine, including the flagship Sakhalin-2 facility in Russia's Far East. It said in April it will take a £3.8 billion hit by leaving Russia. The project, which supplies about 4% of the world's current liquefied natural gas (LNG) market, is 50% owned and operated by Gazprom. According to the decree, Gazprom will keep its stake, but other shareholders must ask the Russian government for a stake in the new firm within 1 month. The government will then decide whether to allow them to keep a stake. No fewer than 60 local and foreign runners will jostle for $80,000 prize reward in the maiden edition of the Abuja International Marathon. Speaking at an event to herald it in Abuja, the project coordinator Femi Abegunde said that the marathon would debut in Nigeria's capital city on December 17 this year, with runners from all over the world participating. Abegunde further stated that the foreign athletes will be joined by local runners for the 42-kilometer race, which will begin from the city gates through the interesting parts of the FCT and end at the Eagle Square. The winner among the 60 runners, local and foreign, will go home with $80,000. The desire to create an Abuja International Marathon is to showcase the city, attract investors, boost tourism and the economy as it is done in other world commercial cities like London and New York. And that's the news this morning, but remember you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube page at ABS Television Oka. You can follow us on Instagram at ABS Radio TV or log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And here are the main points again. We told you that the Anambra State government is ready with measures to forestall monkeypox outbreak, and state government has announced new housing schemes for low-income earners. We also told you that the federal government has approved Microsoft Enterprise Agreement to reduce cost of IT products, as Russia is to take over major oil and gas projects in war-torn region of Ukraine. Remember that Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and the promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him and maximum support for the task ahead. And that's the news this morning. Thanks for joining us. I am David Okwasale.